Coming up today, we start 2025 with a look back at 2024, all the highs and lows, and what to look forward to in 2025. That's coming up on Traveling with the Mouse. Welcome, everyone, to episode number 480, the first one of 2025. My name is Adam, and I'm joined today by John.
Hey, Chris, can you grab my black Les Paul?
We better grab it before it closes.
It's gone. That's what somebody's going to do whenever it's about to close. They're going to run up there and grab the black Les Paul.
Actually, didn't somebody used to do that?
Well, they occasionally had a
stagehand kind of person.
Yeah, it was a cast member, of course. Whenever he would say that line, they would actually come out and grab the black Les Paul that's sitting there. For those of you that may not be familiar, a Les Paul is a type of guitar.
Right. Yeah, they weren't talking about a person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a couple of people had misinterpreted it as grab my blacklist.
Oh, okay.
And I think that they were talking about, like, I think some people interpreted that as like a list of girls they wanted or something like that after the show or some crap like that, like groupies or something. I don't know.
Like, but this thing or whatever he was, whatever.
Yeah, I don't
thing.
Did they even bother covering that up anymore? Or whatever it is?
Yeah, they've still altered it digitally.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Whatever they changed it to.
I love that idea. How about some backstage passes?
But as usual, Disney didn't want to pay somebody hourly to walk over there and pick up a guitar.
And apparently they no longer want to pay Aerosmith.
Well, yeah, that too makes sense.
Even though they were significantly cheaper than the other people that they tried for
like
what we
Rolling
researched.
Stones or some of the others. Yeah,
way cheaper. And U2 just told them, no, I'm not going to sell out for this or some crap like that. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, it would have. But now they're just going to use what they have, what they own.
Right. They're not even going to pay for anything.
Makes sense.
The only people that are going to pay is us.
Right. But anyway, so it's 2025 now. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. This is your show, by the way. So you lead the way.
This is my show.
I'll follow.
Look out my show. Anyway. Yeah, let's start by looking back before we go forward. Sometimes you have to look back before you can go forward. You gotta walk before you can crawl, so to speak.
So we're gonna walk this way. Oh wait, yeah, we're done with the Aerosmith stuff for now.
Well, for now, because that's gonna come up at some point, probably.
Possibly.
We'll talk some of the highs and lows of 2024, since it's kind of a year in review kind of thing. And then we'll do some looking ahead to what, if anything, we're looking forward to this year. Which there's a few things I'm looking forward to for 2025.
I was going to say that are actually going to happen in 2025.
A couple of them, yeah. Definitely a few. Not a lot, but a few. So, first thing, I guess I would call this a low light because January 27th, 2024 was the final day of operation for the original Country Bear Jamboree at Magic Kingdom.
Oh, so that's the beginning of this past year.
Right. So I'm going all the way back there.
Jam-packed audience.
Yeah, all day, most of the day. And then around 8 p.m. was it? That it had some technical issues and it went down and never came back up for the rest of the day. And finally they just decided to let people walk through this theater one last time, and that was about it. So yeah, kind of sad for the people who waited that long to try to be the last in there, but
it came back also in the same year.
Yeah, later this year, which I would probably list as a highlight. I have it written down as a July, I believe. Wasn't it July when it reopened? I believe it was July.
I'll say this. There's some parts of it that don't work for me, the new show. Some of them just don't really fit too much. That don't make a whole lot of sense. One of them being try everything doesn't really make sense to me. That's just an example. So, but I do think what it has accomplished is it has accomplished introducing the Country Bears to a newer generation, and I feel like they're probably having a little bit of an uptick in audience. I mean,
Yeah,
not drastically by any means, but a little bit of an uptick in audience. So I
right,
think it accomplished what they were hoping out of it by
right,
keeping the Bears without, you know, sacrificing without having 5 people a show, you know?
right, right.
So
And they've improved all the animatronics, and the sound is way better, so
oh, yes, yes.
I'll give it that.
There are no new animatronics, but they all got upgrades.
Right, they all from what they said, they tore them all down and rebuilt them from the ground up, and basically
They
yeah,
upgraded them as far as they could without making them brand new.
right, without making them newer style
Yes.
animatronics, yeah. So they look good though, overall, they look really good.
They're
So
very
the show
fluid.
will be good. Yeah, for what they are, yeah, great. Speaking of animatronics, another one was, early on in February of last year, we got the preview of the Tiana animatronic. The Disney did that video of, like, preview of
Oh,
Tiana's Bayou Adventure,
wow,
and
that was that early in the year? Interesting.
yeah, that was February. I looked back through our show notes, through the year, and that was February when we first talked about it. It's very impressive when it's in A mode, meaning it's, operating the way it's supposed to be versus a B mode or not working at all, which I've seen both of
Yes.
throughout the attraction. But
And I will say this from I can't say it from personal experience, but from, I guess you could say research, right? Videos and what have you. Apparently, when they were designing this attraction, they had Disneyland in mind and were using Disneyland, even though it opened second, right?
yeah,
And from
mm,
everything I've heard, the pace is much better
and
in the
Disneyland.
Disneyland version than it is in the Walt Disney World version. So it's like we flipped, right? Because I would say that
True.
of Splash started in Disneyland, but it was better in Disney World.
Right,
And now Tiana started in Walt Disney World, but it's
right, but
better
it's
in
better in
Disneyland.
Disneyland.
Yeah, it's like they
Yeah,
flip-flopped. From what I've seen, like, the pacing it goes through is a little bit quicker pace early on, but it slows down to
true.
the perfect pace for the final scene,
Yeah,
right?
the final scene is way too fast at Disney
Mhm.
World, I think.
And they've
And
somehow managed to, in both cases, speed the ride up from what it previously was somehow. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, it definitely feels
Yeah.
faster than it
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
which is, I guess, a good thing
Yeah.
overall. Didn't need to be too slow, but so for our show in March, I couldn't really find any news that was
There was no
noteworthy.
news in March? No news in the
Yeah,
spring?
nothing noteworthy. It was a lot of, like, previews of Q23 or, like, Diana's or
Trip
something,
reports.
that kinda stuff. Yeah, Jason had a cruise from New Orleans that he did in March that was
Oh,
on
okay.
the Magic.
It's a good thing he wasn't in
Remember
New
that?
Orleans recently.
Exactly. But, yeah, Hollywood Studios. So we talked about, remember back in the day, because it was the 35th anniversary of Hollywood Studios last year, and we had talked
Correct.
about
How different
Hollywood
it was.
Studios, and we walked through our footage from 1989.
Oh, yeah.
And we had tossed around the idea of doing an audio commentary to it, which we haven't done yet. So
So
maybe that should
we're gonna
be,
have to make that part of, 2025.
yeah, our YouTube channel. We should do that. Actually, it'd be kind of fun.
Are we gonna do that for, like, an episode, or are we gonna just do it separately?
Could do it separately.
Yeah,
I
just do
think
it
it
for
could
the
work.
YouTube channel.
I think it could work. Either one. We
Let's make
might
it
do
happen.
both. So it made
It's
me
on the
think of that.
docket now. You will find that on our YouTube channel.
Okay, well, we have to do it now.
Yeah.
May was kind of Fantasy Springs. I skipped April. May, Fantasy Springs in Tokyo, Disney.
Oh, yes.
That was a big deal there.
Fantasy Springs, another one that I've kind of looked at whenever we brought up this topic, right? Of the best and the worst of. That is one of the best things they have
Yeah.
done, like, ever.
Yeah. That whole land is amazing, and every attraction is good. I mean, some are
Yeah.
better than others, but Yeah.
And see, here's the difference between this park and some of the other parks, although Shanghai is rather impressive with the stuff that they add. But the Oriental Land Company sets the budget. So
Mm.
basically, Imagineers have like carte blanche as far as what they want to do as far as an attraction goes.
Wow.
Not like it is here. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's run differently.
Yeah.
But that's one of the highlights, I think, looking forward to this year is it seems like there's more investment in the parks in
There
the
is,
next
but it will
years.
all the you can guarantee that here in the States there will be cuts from anything that they say.
Yeah, it usually starts out looking like, oh, that's going to be cool. And then it's going to be a shell of what,
Yep.
what we first saw.
That's a guarantee.
Yeah, it's usually how it goes. But oh well. All right. So also, Donald Duck turned 90 last year. That was
Oh, yeah.
his 90th, was I believe in June or end of May, something like that.
Donald Duck turned 90,
Forgot the
which
exact
means
date.
the one that I will always remember how old he is because he's exactly one day his birthday is one day older than me, and he's exactly 50 years difference. On top of that
Is
is
Mickey.
Mickey. So Mickey is 96
Mhm.
this past year.
Which I guess is technically Minnie as well. I mean, they don't really
Yeah,
talk
Mickey
about
and
Minnie
Minnie.
and
They never do say Minnie, do they? They didn't originally. They say it more now. They're both 96.
yeah.
It's
So he's
amazing that they're together and they're the same age.
getting close to the 100-year mark for them. So as a low light or a sad thing was Richard Sherman passed away last year.
Yes.
One of the legends and
No
one of
more no
the
more Sherman Brothers songs.
yeah.
Well, of course there hadn't been for a while, but
Actually, it was May 25th. I remember now. We talked about it in June because I think I had a trip that week. So
that
anyway,
was right around Memorial Day. So
yeah, it was basically on Memorial or close to it. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, sad, but he did finish. He wrote that last verse to Small World, which we saw revealed this year at the
Mhm.
end of the year, and we're down to like what Bob Gurr, who's still alive, that interacted with Walt on a regular basis. I'm trying to think if there's
He's the
anybody
only
else.
one.
I mean, there might be a couple more, but that were Imagineers or the original era.
Yeah, I remember in the 80s, the one that they used to feature a lot was Ward Kimball of the Old
Yeah,
Men.
right.
When did
Right.
he pass?
2002.
No, okay. So he hung in there pretty good while, actually, compared from that,
Yeah.
because he looked pretty old and then. So
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I know we lost Rolly Crump recently.
oh,
Mark
yeah.
Davis has been gone for a while. Marty Sklar not that long ago, about five years ago, something like that. Like Bob Gurr might be the last kind of those.
And he's how old?
He's like 93, I think, something like that.
He still looked in pretty good shape the last time I saw him.
He's doing great for his age. Right? He's incredible.
He's gonna
In
end up
incredible
being
shape.
in he's gonna end up being in Jimmy Carter's range.
Yeah, but I would say the second generation of Imagineers that didn't really know Walt personally, but
Do we have like a Renaissance era now? They've got to be a little older, right?
Tony Baxter is who I was thinking of,
Oh,
who
yeah.
worked
Was he
he
second
worked at
generation?
Disneyland while Walt was alive, and I think he remembered seeing him. But I don't know if he was like
He was probably not in the same room with him or anything
yeah.
at that
Yeah,
point.
right. He wasn't like talking to Walt at all. So
Right.
anyway,
He wasn't part of the creative yet.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, all right. So Inside Out 2, that was a highlight of the year.
Ah,
Or
yes. As far as films
July.
go, I got to thinking about that. As far as films go, which ones would you consider? Obviously, Inside Out 2 is a success. If
Mm-hmm.
we want to count near the end of the year thus far, I guess you could count Moana 2 as a success, right?
Yeah, which I thought was good. Inside Out 2 was definitely better. And I was looking at the top movies of 2024 since it's now 2025,
Uh-huh.
just to throw that in here. Moana 2 almost overtook Wicked, but it fell short by about 30 million. So number 1 was Inside Out 2, Deadpool and Wolverine was number 2,
This
Wicked
is overall or among Disney?
overall.
Oh, okay.
Like, so Wicked was number 3, and Moana 2 was number 4.
Huh.
So
For the whole year.
for the entire year of
And
2024.
they only had like a month to get their number, so
right. And I was looking as well at Mufasa because we were talking about Disney was on a winning streak and how is Mufasa doing? Technically, it's a success. I wouldn't call it it's not done nearly as well as Moana or Inside Out or Deadpool and Wolverine.
it hasn't done as well as its budget either.
Well, I looked, its budget was 200 million, and so far worldwide, it's made 365 million.
Okay.
So it's making a profit, but not like.
What's it in comparison worldwide to, say, Moana?
Let's see. So the 365 Moana is at 900 million worldwide.
And it had about, what, 2 or 3 weeks a head start?
It was about a month almost, 3 weeks, probably 3 weeks.
Okay.
So it's definitely being
that's
outpaced.
kind of, it's behind that. I mean, it's hard to call all those numbers a disappointment, but I think one of the things with Mufasa is there weren't people, when they talked about the opening weekend especially, I think there weren't as many people as, let's just say, eager. There's not a lot of anticipation for that one, especially based on the first one. They're just like, oh, this is another live action at this point.
Right. And I had talked about going to see this, but it ended up being where my son went with someone else, and I didn't end up going. So he liked it, though. He thought it was really good. He enjoyed it. Yeah, he enjoyed it. I don't think he liked it as much as Moana 2 or Inside Out 2, but
I think that, I think there's elements of that story. I just think this another one of those things that nobody asked for. It could be good, but I think it's another one of those things that nobody asked for. So that's why.
I mean, but people probably thought about it, like, I wonder what the backstory of Scar and Mufasa was, but
yeah, if they would focus on that part, if fans would anyway, that dynamic, I think they would have liked it better, to be honest with you, if they did that story but animated, not live action.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
but
it'd be hard to do though. You couldn't get James Earl Jones now, obviously. You could still get Jeremy Irons. Maybe
yeah,
he doesn't really do much these days.
Well, I guess if the point of it being younger Mufasa and younger Scar could use new voices for animated, I guess, either way. So
you could use somebody that's younger and sounds similar to a James Earl Jones.
I guess.
Does that person exist?
Yeah.
Same way with Jeremy Irons. It's kind of doubtful.
Speaking of voices, and this is another sidebar. I talked about that Indiana Jones video game, the Circle, the Great Circle.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, so like it's obviously not Harrison Ford, but Harrison Ford at 82 or 3 couldn't do Harrison Ford at 35. Anyway, right? He couldn't voice that even if he wanted to, which of course they couldn't pay him enough probably to do that.
With AI, they could probably figure it out now, right?
Maybe. But the guy who did the voice did a great job of sounding like Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark. See, they probably used
some AI samples.
Maybe. But it was a voice actor that did. Well, I think he mocapped it too, which is...
It's like a filter.
Yeah.
It's like the Harrison Ford filter.
Maybe.
You're speaking
but
into.
He did I don't think they altered it. I think he just did it, but...
You think so?
He did a great job. I've seen some behind the scenes of it. He did a great job of the mannerisms in the voice from Indiana Jones, like Raiders. It was very Raiders of the Lost Ark like. So anyway.
Speaking of that,
moving on.
I was listening to source audio for the Pirates of the Caribbean. This was circa 2007, 8, somewhere in that range. Because it had the new... I guess the thing I was getting at is they obviously took Johnny Depp and did had him do voiceovers for the Jack Sparrow, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Obviously, they had, Bill Nighy do Davy Jones. The one I was listening to was actually before they added Blackbeard, so that was still just Bill Nighy. Surely they got,
Jeffrey
uh
Rush?
yeah, Jeffrey Rush, surely they got him too, right? I mean, 'cause the only thing
Sounds
I was
like him.
listening to it, and I was like, "It does, but it kind of doesn't." When I was listening to him, I was like, "I don't think it's
I
an
mean,
imitator, I think it's actually Jeffrey Rush," but,
I think it is, but
that had to be a pretty good chunk of money to get those 3 actors at that point in time, right? To
unless
do
they
those.
built it into their contracts for the movies,
It's
maybe.
possible. Yeah, it's
Maybe they
possible
did some kind of,
they
like yeah,
yeah. Anyway,
that could be it.
and then came, what was it called? Gosh, what was the film with Black Bear called? I just saw it not too long ago, and now I can't remember it.
Stranger Tides, or was that the
Yes,
other
I think that's it. Yeah, Stranger Tides. When they added him and they added I kind of miss the mermaid song, the siren song that they did there for a brief time period. They took it away. Do you remember that?
one? Mm-mm.
I wonder if I can find some video with the siren song and shit, send it to you.
Wait, I can't remember that one.
Yeah, they had the mermaids in that movie, they came up and they sang, right? So they had that
Right.
song in the attraction at the very
Yeah.
beginning, right
Oh, in the
before
beginning.
right
Oh,
before the
the
mist.
caves. In the caves,
Yeah,
okay.
right before the mist, they had that song in there.
The Davy Jones
Anyway,
mist or the Blackbeard
right before
mist,
Davy Jones
whatever.
slash Blackbeard, yeah.
Got it. That's the yeah, the past solar preview for Tiana's that was in the summer, but
Uh-huh.
Tiana's opening, it's a great attraction.
Just pales in comparison to the Disneyland version, apparently.
Yeah, I guess. But it runs, I mean, when it runs well, it's fantastic. So let's see other stuff. D23, would you call that a highlight or a low light? Interesting.
I think it's a highlight because in comparison to the last 2, they actually delivered with, things that they're doing, not just blue sky. Some of the stuff, though, that they delivered with was blue sky at the previous one, so
Right. And some of the things they purposely left out because they would have gotten booed.
oh, yeah, they knew they
Yeah.
totally planned that whenever they said that if they'd have come out there and said, "We plan on closing Rivers of America and putting cars
Yeah.
there," yeah, that
Right.
would not have gone over well with the D23 audience.
Or, hey, we're going to open Monsters Inc., but it's going to close Muppets. Yeah. People would have, like, rioted the
Yeah. They just
stage.
put "We're opening Monsters, Inc. in Hollywood studios. We're just not gonna tell you where.
Yeah. Like on a
We're trying to keep you guessing."
underutilized section of Hollywood studios.
Right. Like they have such a thing with as small a park as that is.
And they probably just made up that concept art that looked like Launch Bay just to throw people off.
They probably did. They probably gave you more than one spot to say, "Hey, these are the ones we're thinking about. What do you think?" type deal.
Yeah. Anyway. So there was a little bit of smoke and mirrors, but for the most part, it looks like, there is some good things to look forward to, and they are actually going to happen unless, barring some, you know,
Yeah,
issue that comes up.
I think the whole Muppets one was probably I think it was the most disappointing both ways, to be honest with you. I think people are glad that Muppets aren't totally leaving. I think they hate that Muppet Vision there hasn't been any plans that have been put in place to keep it, Muppet Vision itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think adding them to Rock and Roller Coaster is not going to go over as well as they think it will. Just my personal opinion. I think Rock and Roller Coaster has a following. I think like that
I know.
time that we said, like when we said if they were going to replace it with another rock band, who would it be and how would it work? And we couldn't really think of anything good that would work, right?
Yeah, not
So it's
really.
just kind of it was the perfect blend was the Aerosmith tracks that they chose and that ride. And I think that's kind of become like a favorite of a lot of people. You just named how the wait time, right? Which we said was partially due to capacity, but I mean, you have to have the popularity there as well for that to, it's a two factor. So
Right, I think that was pre-show, but according to the Thrill Data, Rock and Roller Coaster was the third highest average wait time of the year 2024 at
there you go.
100 minutes.
And it's 25 years old.
Yeah. And like, somewhat a capacity thing, but also it is popular. I mean, it's probably the
It's
most.
also, to this day, one of the smoothest launch coasters out there, if not the
It's good.
smoothest.
It's definitely
So,
good. I mean, definitely good.
surprising
So,
from Vekoma. Seems like everything Disney does is Vekoma.
well, lately it has been. Let's see. Okay. We had some good guests on this past year. We had the brothers WW on.
Oh, yeah.
They had done double or 2 challenge completions in, I think it was 3 days. They basically did
Yeah.
back to back.
And they did it
Yep.
during a time period when it wasn't exactly easy. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it was like spring break time. I think it was like March or April when they
mhm.
did it.
Well, I just
We
mean the
had them
number of
on.
attractions and yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
the system started cooperating to make it at least possible, but, it still took someone like the brothers to pull it off.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly, yeah. So we chatted with them, and then, of course, Jose Barvas from La Cava Tequila, we talked to him in September, and that was a fun interview as well. So yeah, you can go back and find both of those in our archives on travelingwiththemouse.com or on Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you're listening to this. It should be. Just scroll down. But anyway, yeah.
Yep.
October, the Cake Bake Shop. That was what I wrote down. That was what we talked about.
I'm curious. I haven't really followed up on it. I wonder how it's doing lately.
Yeah, it's a good
I mean,
question.
there
Did
was a
the
l yeah, there
did
was
it
a
wear
little
off?
bit of hype, of course, in the
Right.
initial,
Good
but
hype. But
awfully
that's
expensive.
right. $25 for a slice of cake,
But
is it
then
worth
again,
that?
a lot of things are. So,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
haven't really created this category, but, I think we had the winner, not even a candidate, for worst place to place a mobile order.
Fries Nook. Yeah, it was a low light from all my trips to Disney this year was
What was funny
trying to
is
get a mobile
you
order.
had just talked about that, and then I had just watched a video. Like, when you talked about that, I had just watched a video in
On
which
how bad
somebody
it
did
was.
that and how long we had to wait for a mobile order.
Gosh. Yeah. I wonder what the touring plans ranking of that one is, that restaurant. Or
Mm, it's interesting. I don't know. I haven't
it's
really
pretty
looked at it.
bad.
The video I watched, he got on his ratings, it seemed like from Yelp, but it was among some of the worst rated. But some of those ratings on Yelp, I think sometimes, because among the worst rated was Casey's, and I'm like, how is Casey's among the worst rated? This doesn't seem
You
like
know,
a worst rated place to me, but
well, I had a similar mobile order experience there where it took forever. And
gotcha.
I never got the food actually. I just left.
Well, among the worst rated on there too was actually a table service, but it was Plaza, which is another surprising one.
Yeah. And that's another problem that I have with Disney's now that I think about it, because I was gonna just cancel the order, but you can't. The app won't let you cancel
Right,
an
because it's
order.
taking too long.
Yeah. So it's like, I just wanted to go order something else.
Yeah, it's not like a 30 minutes and it's free
Yeah,
type deal.
or if you're waiting too long, just, okay, cancel the order. Let me go somewhere else, but you're kinda stuck.
I bet if you
So,
complained enough, it might would work.
well, you could probably get your money back if you just walked away, and or you could probably go to guest relations or the guest experience and
Yeah,
maybe talk your way into getting your money back for a no-show. But anyway.
especially if you were like staying at the Grand Floridian or something.
Well, sure, yeah, if they're like, or if you're,
Like the
staying
bungalows.
club level or something.
Of course, if we were saying all that, why are you ordering from the Friar's Hook?
Exactly. If I was club level, I'd just go back to the Grand Floridian and go to
Right.
the lounge.
Was what you ordered any good? I can't remember.
No, it was not. It was breakfast. I was trying to
And
remember
it
what it
was
was now. It was like a
wasn't worth the
breakfast.
wait when it was all said and done.
No. No, it wasn't. I don't even remember. It was like, yeah, it was something
So
breakfasty.
so in case you folks out there have been paying attention, as far as quick service places to avoid, Friar's Nook is at the top of the list right now.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
just beware if you're trying to order breakfast or anything, probably, but it
Yeah,
was not well
especially a
run.
mobile order.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. We've already talked about Muppets and Monsters Inc., but, well, we talked about Muppets, but Monsters Inc., in November, they announced, it was going in that courtyard Muppets area. I've been looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be really cool. I'm looking forward to the restaurant. I'm looking forward to, the attraction, the
Did
coaster.
did you eat at Pizza Rizzo when you were
Yes,
there
yeah,
last? Okay.
I did, yeah.
Was it worth it?
And it was fine. It wasn't
It was fine.
phenomenal. I mean, as far as, like, a quick service pizza, it's decent. Like, I don't hate it, but
Right. I think the thing is, like,
not
people hate
amazing.
on Disney pizza just because it's not, like, gourmet or whatever. I was like, "It's okay
Yeah.
pizza."
It's edible, and when you're
Yeah,
hungry and you can
exactly.
and
It's safe. It's a safe
that
option.
so that was another thing. That was a mobile order that was super fast. Did I tell that story? I got in the regular line because they had a special dessert that I wanted.
No, I don't remember that anyway.
Yeah. So they had a special dessert that I wanted, but I think it was because it was Christmas season. It was still on the menu, the board in the restaurant, but it was not available. So I got in the regular line to ask, and then the customer kept saying, "You should probably mobile order because it'll be a lot faster." And once I asked them, "Hey, is this still here?" And they said, "No, it's because it's Christmas season. We don't have it anymore." I literally walked out of line, mobile ordered the pizzas I was gonna get, and within 2 minutes, I had my order, and everybody else was still standing in the line.
Including the special ones?
Well, I mean, I got the Christmas version of it, but it wasn't the one that my son wanted. He wanted the one that wasn't the Christmassy one. But anyway,
Oh, okay.
so
Gotcha.
but anyway, mobile order there was amazing, and at Columbia Harbor House, it was another one where within, like, a minute of saying I'm here, that it was ready, so
Mhm. There you
so,
go.
anyway, yeah, and we talked about the box office already too. That was December. I was just going through that. So do you have any other ones that were different than mine from last year that were highs or lows?
I think one that kind of falls into the background really, because it wasn't like a major hype around it, was the Star Tours update.
Oh, yeah.
They had The
Yeah.
Mandalorian, Ahsoka,
Mhm.
things like that.
I
I
did
just feel
see
like that
that.
one kind of flew under the radar, but it
That's
did
a
take
good point.
place.
I think I forgot to talk about that, but I
Yeah.
got to see Ahsoka and Mando and Grogu. I love the one with Grogu because there's, like, that little frog that's, like, just floating, and he's gonna eat it, but it's like, while Mando's talking, he's just, like, watching this floating frog thing, and then it's, like, at the end anyway,
And another one that I
that's
don't know
cool.
if it's when it opened but Pixar Place, you know, the
Oh, yeah, the hotel out
Paradise
in
Pier, it reopened this
right,
year out
out
in
in
Disneyland.
California. I was looking at maybe going to Disneyland next year, and that was the hotel I was looking at to try and get, but the prices, they're still a lot because it's Disneyland, but
Of course, I think we kind of mentioned it, but one among the worst, Rivers of America closing, right, to make
mm,
way for
yeah,
cars. We don't know when exactly. As a matter of fact, it may be opened like most of this year, if not all of this year,
right.
to be
Yeah,
honest.
the fact that we don't have one and another one that I was gonna talk about is a 2025, but I'll throw it in now since we're kinda talking about both, is the Zootopia show that was supposed to be replacing Tough to Be a Bug, Disney still says winter 2025. That doesn't
Suggests that
appear
It's Tough to Be a Bug will be
right. I
around for a
can't
while.
imagine because they haven't even listed a closing date for Tough to Be a Bug, and this isn't gonna
No,
be we're just switching out the movies. They have to, like, do some work, obviously, or change characters or animatronics, I would hope, for this show, so at the earliest, we're talking the very end of the year, I would guess, but yeah, this is a Space 220 thing, right, in my view.
right.
This isn't happening this year because they haven't even talked about closing it, so this is something got cut or delayed or whatever, and we're not gonna see this happen until
Right.
2026 probably, but
And I guess here's another one we could kind of put in the worst category just because it was disappointing was the Communicore Hall.
Yeah, that's a good one to bring up because so
Yeah.
far it's been underwhelming for the most part. I think during the holiday festival of the holidays, the gingerbread Epcot, Spaceship Earth was cool. This
Mhm.
first gingerbread house. I think that's been the best use of the space so far, but it has not been great.
And I guess this one's one you can consider positive or negative depending on which side of the fence you're on, but the timing of the announcement of Epic Universe, like, they kinda stole Disney's thunder in a way.
Mm,
With the timing of when they announced when it was gonna open, right? So,
yeah, yeah,
well, apparently it's gonna be a bigger deal than they tried to let on because they're offering things like 40% discounts and stuff like that. So,
yeah. Yeah, should we talk about that?
they
Because
brought oh, yeah,
free dining?
they brought free dining back, yes.
Yeah, free dining.
Something we thought was gone forever, really, right? We had kinda
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
So,
So free dining is back. So as I said last year, I think this year is going to be the best year for discounts to go to Disney World. And
possibly.
another perk that they sort of flown under the radar too is this year, if you're staying in a Disney resort, on your arrival day, you can get to the water parks for free or included. So you can visit a
The whole
water
year?
park. Yeah, so I believe it's the whole year. Did they talk about a ticket discount for summer yet? I was waiting for that
I
one.
don't recall that one.
The last couple of years, I've done that $99 like summer ticket, which is a
One thing
great
you can make a
price.
guarantee on they will not discount is lightning lanes.
Yeah, that's
That is
true.
something that I think was a negative over the past year. What do you think? I mean, I guess it depends on your perspective.
Well,
I think
in a
overall it was
way,
a negative,
yeah, but I
the
think when they
overhaul.
retooled it to multi-pass and single pass, the price, I don't think, and if I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but I don't think the price ever hit the high of Genie Plus, actually.
Yes, but I feel like every time they do an overhaul with this, they somehow make it overall worse for people who are truly paying attention and people who have been here since the beginning.
Yeah,
And even people who were used to, because you have a lot of people who go now who were used to the way the FastPass Plus system operated. And when you throw this at them, they obviously like this less
right. Yeah, I'm looking at it for Marathon Week. It's $32 for next week,
per
which
person. Yeah, this is before you even, yeah.
for Magic Kingdom.
Mhm.
But again, the loophole is, if you start at a lower tier part or lower price park, it doesn't, you can still
Right,
get
for that
in.
one day.
Yes, for that day, you can still get in the lower price. But yeah, yes, overall, not the best, but 2025, as long as they don't really change the price too much, because now do you think the Premier Pass is a low light or?
I would kinda say it is because it's not what I was expecting, but
I mean, it's definitely a lot, and I don't
I just think
love.
if you're gonna
Yeah,
introduce an option like that, it needs to be it doesn't need to have restrictions like the type that it has anyway. Let's just put it that way.
right. Yeah, right. You should be able to ride multiple times and that kind of thing for that kind of money.
Right, at that
I
price
think.
point. Because the competition somewhat lets you do that.
Right. The fact that you can't park hop on it is kind of ridiculous.
That's the
But
other
anyway,
thing. Because if you buy the Unlimited Express at Universal, it's exactly what it says it is. It's unlimited. Doesn't matter which park you go to, doesn't matter how many times you want to ride a ride, it is truly unlimited.
yeah.
But Disney probably doesn't think they can do that because it kind of upsets their little, like, I don't know, plan that they have going here to make people go where they want them to go type deal.
Right. So, what are you looking forward to in 2025 at Disney World?
Mm, I don't know. I mean, there's not really a whole lot that's actually going to occur before the end of the year, right?
There's a few things. that I listed. I mean, for me, I have the marathon coming up, the half marathon.
Uh-huh.
That's very soon.
But I mean, like attraction-wise, is anything actually changing before the end of the year? I mean, I know they're starting on a lot of them before the
Right.
end of the year.
Well, Test Track is the only one.
Oh, yes,
That's
that's right. The test track will be done.
3.0.
That's right.
So we have Test Track 3.0, late summer, I think it said. Yeah.
Right, yeah. That's a retheme,
Right.
though. I mean, it's kind of a little different. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. It's one that'll attract some attention, but not quite the same as
Right. It's
what the
really all they
competition
have
is doing.
ride-wise to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll probably market that, I'm guessing. But we'll see how it turns out. But it's kind of being funded mostly by GM, right? So the budget
Mhm.
might be not
Oh,
be cut. Who knows?
something I was just thinking about that we didn't mention for end of the year this year or
Hmm.
for 2024 because it eked in right at the end of the year. The treasure, that was a big one.
Oh yeah, it opened. Yeah, that's right. It started sailing. Yeah,
Yes,
I've
and it
seen.
looks very impressive.
Yeah, I definitely would love to go on that ship.
Hmm.
I'm hoping to do a cruise this year as well. That's one thing I'm looking forward to. It'd be later in the year, but I'm looking forward potentially doing that. But the lounges, there's the Spaceship Earth Lounge. Not a huge hype on this one, but it's going to open late spring, I believe. So,
Not a lot of hype, but I feel like that's one of those that's probably going to deliver for the ones that do experience it.
yeah. I think if you can get in around fireworks time, it would be cool to hang out there as adults, without kids.
Uh-huh.
It'd be fun to hang out without kids there. But
The things that have opened recently that, the hype kind of died down relatively quick, like, well, one that you didn't really expect there to be a huge amount of hype to, like, not sustainable anyway, is Journey of Water. But
Mhm.
did that open this year, or was it last or the year before? This past year,
I
or was it
think
the
that
year
was
before?
end of 2023, actually, because I
Okay.
remember doing the
Well,
preview for it in October of 2023.
yeah. Yeah. So it was, yeah, at the end of 23. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But the biggest thing I'm looking forward to, Test Track is probably right up there with this one, but the new nighttime parade that Disney's
Oh,
gonna
okay. Yeah.
do this summer, I I think I think this has the potential to be, really good because they're definitely it looks like they're putting a lot of effort into it. So,
One thing you can consider is this 2024, 2025. Technically, I guess it opened just a shade before the end of 2024. Poly Tower, I guess you would say, the DVC at Poly.
yes, yeah, that's true. That opened the last, yeah, like
Week of
December.
the year,
Yeah, it was
something
like
like that. It's pretty close.
December 19th or something, or 20th or something like that.
Yeah.
And it looks so great. Yeah, I definitely would like to go check it out. Maybe the lounge there, the bar, the restaurant there. Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away is the parade, by the way. That's the name of the parade. And it will be summer 2025. So I'm looking forward to more details on that coming soon.
Hmm.
It looks like it will be cool. And of course, it's been, 8 years since Disney's had a nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom?
When you
Something
said
like that.
nighttime parade, that kind of spurred another thought for me. What was the name of that drone show at Disney Springs that debuted this past year too?
Oh, yeah.
And then they also
Um,
incorporated drones in the nighttime show at Disneyland, was it?
mhm. And that obviously isn't happening. It Dreams That Soar, I think was what it was
Yeah,
called.
yeah, that was the one for Disney Springs.
Brady Springs, yeah. So that ended, right? So who knows if that's gonna come back or anything like it.
Well, they kind of debuted the drones there, and then they incorporated it in the Disneyland show, right? I think that's
Maybe.
still.
Are they the same drones? Is that why?
Well, I don't know if it's the same drones, but I
They
mean,
moved them.
I feel like that was one of those things where Disney Springs was kind of like a test run,
Mm,
for that show. So
also
for
by.
drones,
All right. The Villain Show at Disney's Hollywood Studios is supposed to open this year as well. That might be cool.
Where's that supposed to go? It's supposed to go where Lightning McQueen was, right?
Yeah,
That's like
the
a
Racing
temporary.
Academy. Mm-hmm.
That's just supposed to be temporary, though.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, but it
Even though they
looks
haven't
like
announced what's going to go there permanently yet.
correct, but yeah, it's gonna be there for a while.
Yeah.
So,
But again, they made it pretty clear that it was not going to be long term.
but it is going to. It looks like it's going to feature a lot of live actor because it's a stage show, not like it's not just a film show that they're
Mm-hmm.
going to be. So this could be good. I mean, it could be interesting to see. So it's going to be better than the Racing Academy, that's for sure. But I
Mm-hmm.
think also, yeah, the Little Mermaid show is supposed to come back
Surprisingly.
sometime this year. Yeah, I don't know. Summer, I think, is what the most recent thing says.
But with
And the
updated
villain,
effects, right?
yes, hopefully, because it looked terrible last time I saw it. Summer 2025 is also for the villain show. And didn't they announce that you're going to get a Bluey meet and greet at Hollywood Studios? They didn't
Yes.
really give a lot of detail on that, if I remember right.
Yeah. Is that
They just
really that
said,
big of a deal?
oh, yeah, my kids love Bluey.
Oh,
So,
okay.
huge. Bluey seems to be really big.
Hmm.
So, but don't really know when that's coming. But those are the main ones. I think, isn't the Pirate Lounge going to open next year as well? I am or is that
Supposed to.
2026? No.
No, I think it's supposed to make it. I mean, it's not true. That's not that big of a project.
Let me double check.
Because I think, aren't they already working on it?
Yeah, they are looking for it.
Hmm.
So Big Thunder's closing. That's kind of a low light for this year. It'll be closed for the year. But the parade, so it does say late 2025 for the Pirates Tavern. So it looks like it'll open this year, but it's not going to be anytime. It's not going to be summer, which I was hoping it would be. So late 2025 is the current, but they're actively working on it. So I don't know.
We
It
shall
did look
see.
like it looked like they toned down the decor quite a bit. It looked like it was going to have some live actors and things like that. And then the most recent concept art, it's like a lot more chill vibe. So anyway, I am looking forward to that one though. What else are you looking forward to this year? You have your trip coming up.
I do. As a matter of fact, that would be, let's say, the following week. We'll have one more episode, I think, before I actually go.
Yeah.
So
I guess same here because I have the Run Disney event that I'm doing.
what was the date on that again?
The 11th is the
Okay.
race.
Next weekend.
Yeah, I know. This coming weekend as you're listening to this, possibly. So, yeah,
I didn't say that.
it's coming up fast. So,
Are you ready?
I will finish the race. That's my goals. I'm as
Are
ready
you
as I can be
ready?
for now.
Okay.
I'm ready as I can be, I think. It's been tough to keep consistent with training during the holidays, I'll put it that way. It's been very difficult.
Too much temptation.
Yeah. And my neighborhood is too hilly for practicing Disney. Disney's very flat. So I'm
Well, if you
trying
do
to
the hill, though, I mean, should make the flat easy, right?
but it's running downhill is like my nemesis for some reason. Like I hurt my knees.
You just get you one of those Ivan Drago treadmills and just
Yeah, well, that's why I really should have it. If I had a treadmill, I would probably feel better
you
about it.
could
But
put an
anyway.
incline. That's steep.
Yeah, and just do the steroids. That's probably
There you go. That was the other thing.
I remember that. Like that's all he was doing.
You know, I got to thinking back when that movie was made. You know, that was not even illegal. It was just controversial at the time. They were not
Is
illegal
that
yet.
why they put it in there?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I think that, once again, Hollywood was bringing light to certain things. So,
But Rocky did it the old-fashioned way. He just went out in the snow and ran through the
yeah, he did it the old-fashioned way. He
and
lifted
lifted a
people.
wagon
Yeah,
in a
lifted a
wagon.
wagon. Yeah,
Whatever it is.
did
A cart,
push-ups
whatever.
with people on his back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing. I've been doing goat yoga to get ready for this.
Goat yoga?
Yeah, where those goats sit on your back. You haven't seen that? Yeah.
Don't guess I have.
Just Google goat yoga. It's pretty cool.
That's screaming goats, I guess.
No, I don't think so. They're like mini goats.
Mini goat.
Anyway, so yeah, I think I am looking forward to this year, believe it or not. I think there's several things that I'm doing.
I'm going to try to pack in a pretty good bit into basically 3 days.
Yeah.
Whenever I go. So.
Yeah, we're doing, I mean, the marathon's going to be a short trip, and it's going to obviously not going to be able to do a whole lot after running for half.
I did manage to secure a Space 220, which I've never been to.
So, right. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
See how I think that's more about the experience than it is the food, though.
Yeah. But I think the food's great. I've always enjoyed the food there, so I think.
But did you enjoy the food because of the experience?
I think they went hand in hand.
There you go. That's what I mean.
I enjoyed it.
If you had one without the other, you might not feel the same.
Maybe, but it definitely elevates the experience, sure. So it's definitely worth it. Well,
there it is.
So look forward to our audio commentary. We have to do this
whenever we can do that.
Yeah. Let's not forget. And our trip's coming up soon. And what else we got? The lounges and the test track and the nighttime parade. That's about it. An epic universe if you're into that.
I love how you put those things. You just can't bear to give them credit. You couldn't even bear to give the latest Minions movie credit. You tried to down it. Anyway. So.
Where can we be found?
You can find us still on Facebook, Twitter, X and Instagram. I do that every once in a while. There's also that's all at TWTM Podcast. There is also a Spreadshirt store, which you can buy your exclusive TWTM merchandise. That is shop.spreadshirt.com/TWTM podcast. And we also have a YouTube channel, which hopefully will have that riveting commentary. Where can we find that, Adam?
Our website, which is travelingwiththemouse.com. You can email us podcast@travelingwiththemouse.com. You can find links to all those and more there, including our past episodes from 2024. So, for John, my name is Adam. This has been Traveling with the Mouse, and we hope you will join us on our next trip.
Hopefully we won't be tripping too hard.
Into the future.
Into the year 2025. Doesn't have quite the same ring to it.
The year 2000 was 25 years ago.
Oh, yes, that's true.
That's scary. It's a long time.